Time now for a check ahead on what's happening in Europe next week. For that, we turn to Real Money's Antonia Aprita. Antonia, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So there is a big policy meeting of the Bank of England, and that, of course, comes on the heels of what we saw from the ECB. What are the expectations for the next big central bank policy meeting?
Well, some in the market are hoping, of course, that the Bank of England will cut the interest rate again. It halved it to 0.25% at its last monetary policy meeting, and it restarted quantitative easing by purchasing not just government bonds, but also corporate bonds. This week, Bank of England Governor Mark Carney was testifying in front of the UK Parliament Committee, and he was challenged about the gloomy view he had about Brexit before the vote. But he replied that he was absolutely serene about his predictions for what the Brexit will do to the economy. So next week we will have to see just how serene he is. If the Bank of England doesn't do anything, it could be a sign of confidence that the vote will not affect more negatively the UK economy, at least in the short term.
And Antonia, of course, right before that meeting a couple of days earlier, there'll be a look at consumer prices for the UK. What's the market expecting there in terms of potential inflation or lack thereof?
On Tuesday, indeed, we are getting a look at consumer price inflation. The expectations are that it will increase, although it's likely to be still well within the limits. Last month, inflation came in at 0.6%, which was a bit higher than the previous month's 0.5%. But still, considering that the pound has depreciated by more than 10% versus the dollar since the vote, that's not so bad. So, yes, the Bank of England will look at the inflation figures on Monday, but at the same time, it has said that it's prepared to see through a bit in a short spike in inflation in order to protect the economy from negative effects.
Antonia, what else is on tap for next week?
Also on Tuesday, we're going to have the European Union's statistics office, the Eurostat, releasing EU employment statistics for the second quarter. We are going to look at the hotspots for unemployment. For instance, in Spain, unemployment was falling. However, last month it had begun to increase a bit for the first time in 5 months, because a boom in tourism is approaching the end, as it's the end of the summer. So all those temporary jobs are likely to disappear. So this data really is going to give us an EU-wide look at the trends in employment.
Antonia Aprita, as always, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Street.